to the black vote, which there is nothing being gained. Black leadership selling us out. Meritorious manumission, a slave policy in which they get trinkets and rewards for selling their people out. All the black journalists care about is their own jobs and their own money. They witnessed one of their colleagues, Roland Martin, get hog-tied, brutalized, and lynched, tossed out the window. And because the Democrats lost, they threw Roland Martin out the window. He was fired from MSNBC. Then he was tossed out the window of the, TV One. All of the black journalists who want this meritorious manumission, these trinkets and rewards from their masters, they are selling their peoples out. And they're staying in line until yesterday, when the National Association of Black Journalists invited and hosted President Trump in Chicago, to their so-called chagrin. But Coon Johnson, Mayor Johnson, got on stage to castigate Donald Trump, to denigrate Donald Trump, also to denigrate the National Association of Black Journalists. But these same black journalists failed to hold Coon Johnson accountable. He ran on a platform that he was going to help the black teenagers of Chicago. He was going to stop crime. He was going to help investments. All Coon Johnson did was acquiesce to the demands of Senator Durbin, Governor Pritzker, Joe Biden. The black journalist seems to be partial towards the agenda of the Democrats, to the detriment of the black people who vote. They did not hold Bill Clinton accountable for his failures, his 94 crime bill. Let me read a portion of this 94 crime bill. Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, aka the 94 crime bill, aka Clinton crime bill. Really, it was Jim Crow Joe's crime bill. What does it say? Let me read this. Dealing with crime and law enforcement. It became law in 1994. It is the largest crime bill in the history of the United States, even worse than slavery. I'm just saying that. And consisted of 356 pages that provided for 100,000 new police officers, 9.7 billion in funding for prisons, which were designed with significant input from experienced police officers. Do you see what I'm saying? They put $9.7 billion for prisons in 1994. So imagine how much money that is in today's terms. That's probably over $100 billion that Joe Biden and Bill Clinton put towards prisoning black people. Look at what Senator Durbin and Tammy Duckworth is doing. Durbin called for additional federal support to help cities like Chicago address migrant crisis. Washington, D.C. This is from DuckworthSenate.gov. This is a government website. So you said U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth, Democrat, Illinois, and U.S. Senate Majority Whip Durbin, Democrat, Illinois, today urged the bipartisan leadership of the Senate Appropriations Committee to provide significant additional federal support to interior cities, including the city of Chicago, to help these cities more effectively address the ongoing crisis, migrants. In today's letter, the senators expressed strong support for fulfilling the urgent request of interior cities to invest at least $5 billion in the Federal Emergency Management Agency Shelter and Services Program to ensure these communities are able to continue receiving, processing, and caring for arriving families, particularly vulnerable children in a safe and a humane manner. It says, I quotes, "We write to express strong support for fulfilling requests of interior city mayors, including the dishonorable Coon Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago, to appropriate $5 billion for Federal Emergency Management Agency's FEMA Shelter and Services Program." The senators wrote, though this request is $3.6 billion above President Biden's national security supplemental requested amount of $1.4 billion, the amounts are necessary to address the scope of the challenges that interior cities such as Chicago, Boston, New York, Denver are facing. The senators continued, these cities are investing significant allegedly wasting, they talking about investing and wasting significant local resources to care for migrants in a safe and humane manner, despite the unacceptable lack of communication and coordination by politicians like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who is seeking to cynically use vulnerable migrants, including families and children, as partisan pawns to demonize asylum seekers and sow chaos. The Coon Mayor Johnson is asking for $5 billion. The Coon, the sellout, the one who said he was going to bring money to help the black teenagers and to stop black on black crime, all he asked the Congress to do is bring more money for migrants. I don't see the black people concerns anywhere in this letter. U.S. Senator Durbin, Duckworth, Coon Mayor Johnson, and the rest of the Coons, the Democrats, who the black people voted for, is not sending legislation to Congress to help black people with housing, high prices, inflation, investment in businesses, invested in infrastructure, nothing. And the black journalist should be the one talking about this. But instead, the black journalist is talking about DEI hires, which is irrelevant. We got more black women in positions of power and jobs than black men. You know, black women got most of the money, most of the education, yet we live in extreme poverty, abject poverty under black women. So what good is it?
Yeah, I'm back on my campaign to prevent Kamala Harris, to sabotage, to stop Kamala Harris from becoming president for our own good. What's probable is possible. Statistics is everything. Any racist would know, based on statistical evidence, that under black leadership, nothing gets done for the people. Black people loses wealth, loses power, loses everything, and gets nothing from the government under blacks. In Chicago, we have nothing but black politicians. In Cook County government, in the state of Illinois, we have a black woman, a lieutenant governor. We have a black mayor. Yet the black community is suffering. Black on black crime, disinvestment, poverty, food deserts, illegal aliens getting free house and free money under a black mayor. So it'll be in the best interest of any racist Ku Klux Klan member to want a black president, because nothing will happen for the people. It's just statistics. It's just possible. History best qualifies our research. If you want to know what's going to happen in the future, all you got to do is look at what happened in the past. And we can't see not one successful instance within the last 70 years that black people have prospered and grew as a population under black leadership. Not in the church, not in politics, the government, not in the household, nothing. So of course, they're gonna let this wench gets in because they know she's gonna do nothing for you. I'm gonna tell you exactly the reason why this is real. This is true. Because these black Greeks, the talented 10 Negroes, the so-called Divine Nine, believe that 90% of Negroes should be dead, should be poor, should be exterminated, so the remnant can go integrate into this utopian fantasy called integration. This was the philosophy proposed and promoted by W.E.B. Du Bois and written in extensive detail in his book Up From Black Folks. The Souls of Black Folks. I kind of mixed it up with Up From Slavery, which was the book that came out before The Souls of Black Folks, in which Booker T. Washington wrote this book detailing his life as a slave and as the president of Tuskegee Institute. But W.E.B. Du Bois wrote his book to counter Booker T. Washington's philosophy of doing for self, casting your bucket where you are, pulling yourself up from your bootstraps, separation. Booker T. Washington was a staunch separatist, black nationalist. Du Bois was an integrationalist Negro, and W.E.B. Du Bois' philosophy prevailed, and the black Greeks, including Dr. Martin Luther King, pushed for integration into white society, which destroyed the black businesses, destroyed our communities, our families, everything. And he was a politician. He talked to politicians. We see the results of his philosophy. Kamala Harris is a black Greek from Howard University, AKA with the pink and green colors. She's going to do nothing but destroy Negroes, the 90%. Her only interest is for the 10% remnant, the so-called elite leadership Negroes. She's only interested in them integrating into white society by sacrificing the vast majority of Negroes. We've seen it happen with Dr. King, with W.E.B. Du Bois. We've seen what happened to all of these black leaders. Nothing comes from it. The black mayor in Chicago, even the other black mayor, Harold Washington, who made it a sanctuary city for illegal aliens in 1985. Harold Washington left no legacy for blacks whatsoever. Yet blacks love him because he has brown skin, black skin. They know all you care about is seeing a person in power with black skin, even though you're not going to get anything from it. You're not going to benefit from it. You're not even going to benefit vicariously from it. You just look up there and smile. Look at that. One of us. He's not one of you. They're not your people. These Negroes want you dead. The Tuskegee Syphilis Project was ran by black Greeks who injected syphilis into their own people. Eunice Rivers, the head nurse of the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment, working with Sidney Alansky, a white Jew who believed in the philosophy of eugenics. Margaret Sanger. Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois worked with Margaret Sanger to sterilize and abort black babies, sterilize black women who he felt were undesirable because they weren't educated and they were poor. The Negro Project, W.E.B. Du Bois, the Black Church, and Margaret Sanger, Public Health, Department of Public Health. The black preachers, Louis Farrakhan, all of them is trying to create this false, fallacious utopia. They're going to somehow integrate with their oppressors while exterminating and sacrificing 90% of their own population. This is what I'm going to add to this live stream. We're going to defeat YouTube. I know I'm banned, I'm shadow banned, but I'm going to add this video and continue the movement. Also, go to the website down there and purchase my books. Stop voting for Democrats. Stop participating in these sadomasochistic relationships, these toxic, abusive relationships. The abuser thinks that you enjoy being tortured, demeaned, deceived, abused. The Stockholm Syndrome, when we have an affinity with our oppressor, with our captives. We empathize and sympathize with our kidnappers. This is a mental illness. We had Bill Clinton, the last 3 Democrat presidents, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and now we're talking about Kamala Harris. That would be 24 years under the Democrats. In those 24 years, let's just say the 20 years, the 8 years under Bill Clinton, the 8 years under Barack Obama, the 4 years under Joe Biden. Bill Clinton, the way he got elected, he went to Arsenio Hall show, played the saxophone with sunglasses on. They say he's black. Therefore, he gets elected. He gets the black vote because he's on Arsenio Hall. He plays the saxophone. And he smoked weed. And he had Monica Lewinsky. We look at the policies of Bill Clinton. The crime bill, 94 crime bill, ironically created by Joe Biden, created mass incarceration, mandatory minimum, charging children as an adult, truancy laws, throwing parents in jail for truancy, similar to what Kamala Harris did as a prosecutor, incarcerating black women for truancy, throwing black men in prison for extended periods of time to use them as slave labor, talking about fighting fires, Kamala Harris. So the Democrats use prisons to punish the black man in particular and the black woman, and truancy. Look at what Bill Clinton did with NAFTA and his other trade deals. He sent all of our factories, our major factories, to Mexico, China, Indonesia for cheap labor, causing mass unemployment in the black communities in Flint, Michigan, Chicago, Indiana. Gary, Indiana was destroyed the black communities economically who depended on those factories. What else did Bill Clinton do? He made it so the black women couldn't get welfare anymore unless they had a job. So not only did they kick the black man out the house, they kicked the black women out the house and made them pay these extraordinary fees for daycare instead of letting them stay at home and take care of the children. And they got to get these minimum wage jobs to get crumbs. Bill Clinton did this. What did Barack Obama do? They say he's a black president. Change. In reality, he's a white man and an African, but he used the same logic as Bill Clinton. He's a black man, so therefore he gets the votes. What did Barack Obama do as soon as he get in? He bailed out the banks, financed the banks to foreclose on all of the black housing, caused mass homelessness in the black community particularly. A lot of the housing went into foreclosure. We lost our housing. And now you go to the black communities in Indiana, Chicago, all over the United States. The housing that we lost under Barack Obama are now being occupied by Mexicans. Barack Obama made gay marriage illegal. He legalized gay marriage. He legalized illegal aliens, talking about DACA, deferred action for childhood arrivals. Gave them work vouchers, free education, housing. What did he do for the black people? Nothing. Not one policy did Bill Clinton do to help the black people, but the policies that him and Barack Obama did hurt the black people. Barack Obama gave $16 trillion to the white-owned corporations in America and Europe. He bailed out Greece. He bailed out Bank of America, Chase, and they went and foreclosed on the black people. Blamed the black people, talking about subprime mortgages. Blamed us for the economic crisis. Evicted the black people. And then he brought in a bunch of Mexicans, illegal aliens. And then he legalized gay marriage. Then he started wars all over the world. ISIS. He killed Gaddafi. He did a coup in Ukraine, Yemen, Syria. Obama was a warlord, but he did nothing to help the black people. He did not one hate crime bill to protect black people. Barack Obama didn't do anything to help black people. He helped illegal aliens, DACA. He helped the white corporations. And then when they was finna close down the historically black university in Chicago, Chicago State, talking about they didn't have the funding, Barack Obama and then Mayor Rahm Emanuel was about to let Chicago State go out of business. Guess who saved Chicago State? The Republican governor, Bruce Rauner, saved Chicago State. It wasn't Barack Obama, the then president, nor Rahm Emanuel, the mayor. It was the Republican governor that saved Chicago State. Now look at Joe Biden. He told you you're not black. See, they keep using the black thing. Joe Biden said you're not black if you don't vote for me. And then he got the so-called black woman who's really an East Indian. So the last 3 Democrat presidents pandered to the black people, talking about they're black. They somehow got black connections. A so-called black vice president, the black president Bill Clinton, and the so-called black president Barack Obama with the crime bill Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe Biden. They all say you're not black. Well, they black, somehow got to do with black. But they, in them 20 years of that, nothing. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, nothing to help the blacks, but all to hurt the blacks. And what did Joe Biden do? He made executive orders to help illegal aliens. When you had those Haitians that came over the border, Joe Biden sent them back. He only want the Hispanic migrants. Opened the border up, let in millions of migrants, gave them billions of dollars. He got wars going on in Ukraine, in Israel. What else he do? Inflation. What else he do? A lot of people died under the coronavirus, under Joe Biden with his mandates. What else he do? Nothing. Nothing. He did nothing for the blacks. They don't deserve your vote. They're sadistic. They think deceiving you because they think you're gullible. They think you just enjoy being deceived and abused. You enjoy being stepped on and demeaned, degraded, and according to them. But don't vote for none of them. If you vote for Kamala Harris, that'll be 24 years of nothing. You're giving somebody all and they giving you nothing in return. That's an imbalanced relationship. I wrote this poem when Barack Obama was the president, and I think it's relevant to today. It is called The World, and it's in one of my books, Parts of Man, The Declaration of Truth. Go to my website, enigma.com. They're murdering millions in the name of democracy, spreading hypocrisy, blaming Gaddafi. Look at your own country, corporate slavery, sugarcoating reality, leaders pranks, corporate banks sank. Do you think presidents are kings, allocating our money to give to the thieves? Corporate greed is in their genes. There's a trickle-down effect from the peasants to the kings. Your education is useless if all it produces is cup-holding constituents, prostitution candidates, gun-toting residents, savages. It's evident that what you learned is irrelevant if it's all about the cash till you left on with no backup plan if the money didn't last. Fallacious philosophies, enslaved to identities, corrupting the youth, twisting the truth, influencing their mentality the wrong way, encouraging criminality or become gay, ethical pollution, hood rats and homo thugs, prostitution and selling drugs. At home you show no love, outside they're shooting slugs. People are having children for no reason. They grow up and go to prison. Daddy didn't want a son, he wanted flesh. Mama didn't want a child, she wanted a check. What about the future, the next 100 years? Will we even be here? The evolution of thought, headed one way, the revolutions are fought to bring a better day. The constitutions are brought because the children are taught being righteous is God's way. The institutions are sought because the leaders are bought to maintain society. The status quo, class struggle and drug smuggling, media disguising it, you're not realizing it. For 200 years we cried 200 tears, we're still here ignorant. Back to Africa on slave ships, the price of life. If you can't afford it, don't try to distort it, they won't report it.
Yeah. We cannot support this witch, this devil, this anchor baby, this vitriolic skeezer named Kamala Harris. We cannot support the Democrats because the last 3 Democrat presidents, starting with Bill Clinton to Joe Biden, they all capitulated, pandered to the black vote. Bill Clinton got on Arsenio Hall show, sunglasses, he played the saxophone. And because he played the saxophone, he was considered black. And when he became president, he passed policies, signed policies to create mass incarceration of the black people, the black man in particular. He sent the corporations to China, Indonesia, Mexico with his trade deals. He demolished the so-called middle class, the black middle class, which created these desert ghettos. Drug usage skyrocketed under Bill Clinton. No longer did we have DARE, Say No to Drugs, the commercials that try to discourage the children from participating in crime and using drugs, that was all eliminated under Bill Clinton. He wanted us to sell the drugs, to use the drugs, to join the gangs, to go to prison. Because the gangs are distribution networks for the CIA and the FBI to distribute drugs to the Negroes, to destroy the Negroes, to imprison, incarcerate the Negroes. This is what Bill Clinton did when he became the black president. He used that bait and switch to destroy the Negro. And then Barack Obama got in. The Negro, first Negro black president from Africa, a white woman, mother. Vote or die. The notion perpetuated by P. Diddy. Vote or die. Change. And then when Barack Obama got in, he forgot about the Negro. He focused his attention on the homosexuals, the illegal aliens, waging international wars, expanding so-called American dominance across the world, eliminating Muammar Gaddafi, Syria, Egypt, Ukraine, coups after coups after coups. He tried to eliminate the president of Syria, Assad, that's his name? But they were protected and supported by Turkey and Russia. So therefore, the president of Syria maintains his power. We cannot let this witch, this devil, this demon, Kamala Harris, this skeezer, attain the White House, because it will create a devastating precedent for the foreseeable future of the Negroes, the children. Just like in the 1900s, the late 1800s, when we allowed these devils to destroy our communities, to rob our banks without consequences, that let these devils know they could do whatever they wanted to us and nothing would happen to them. And we see the same thing happening generation after generation. Economic devastation, communities being destroyed, gentrification with no consequences. All the Negro wants to do is to hold hands with the person who destroyed your families, destroyed your communities, murdered your ancestors, murdered your neighbors. You want to be cool. You want to hold hands with these people. Demented notions, demented mentality. Now we got the Jim Crow Joe. First day, he signed executive orders to legalize illegal aliens, protect illegal aliens, Africans, Mexicans, Venezuelans. He opened the borders and let millions of illegals in, give them free housing, free education, free health care. And most of these American Negroes can't even get free health care, braces, dental, who was born in America. Yet these things, these creatures crawl over the border to get put in the front of the line to get all of the resources under Jim Crow Joe and his witch, his wench, his bed wench, Kamala Harris, who've done nothing but giggle for the past 20 years, giggling, smiling, because they know all the Negro gotta do, all they gotta do to get a Negro is to smile at them. You think they're your best friend. They smile at you, smile in your face and stab you in your back. And they know these ignoramus, illiterate Negroes will go out there and vote because this Negress has brown skin. Pretty much every East Indian you see has brown skin, but they don't want anything to do with you. They come here with their ghetto slum mentality, their caste system where they step on each other, eating each other, eat doggy dog society of East India, billions of people sleeping on top of each other, and they're going to bring that mentality here. They're not going to be advocating for anybody but their own self-interests, just like they always have done. And they're going to pander to the Negro fascination with seeing a Negro in power. Negro colonialism in Africa. They implant the government with these sellout Negroes, and they do the bidding of Europe against their own people. This is exactly what's been happening in the United States. In Chicago, we got this dude with black skin, Brandon Johnson. He got elected because he got black skin. And since he's been elected, he's done nothing for the Negroes. No resources, no empowerment programs. All he did was give billions of dollars to some illegal aliens, housing illegal aliens, bragging about what he did for illegal aliens. This monkey, this coon, he got elected because of his skin. And he used that deception because he knows black people are so stupid. All they care about is skin tone, skin color. And this black skin, they're going to empower this Negro, brainwash this Negro. His Negro was born in, was raised in Elgin, Illinois. He wasn't even from Chicago. It's like Barack Obama. He ain't from Chicago. He used that to try to get credibility. He born in Hawaii, Indonesia, wherever he came from. Moved to Chicago, married some dude named Michael, who became a woman, and now he's the black president from Chicago. Yeah, you can't let these people continue to deceive you. If you let these people continue to deceive you, you deserve whatever you get. When they bring in 50 million illegals and they kick all these Negroes out their houses like they're trying to do in the south suburbs, when they raise the property taxes, when you lose your house, that's what you get. Whatever happens to you, you get exactly what you deserve. And just like when we was in the wilderness in the book of Exodus, all these old Negroes, we gotta wait till they die off because they have a fascination with their oppressor. They want to go back to slavery. They want to go back to Egypt. They want to do whatever it takes to please their masters. So we gotta let these old Negroes, Farrakhan, Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all of these old Negroes, we gotta let them just wither away, get out the way. It's gonna take another 20, 40, 50 years till all these old sellout Negroes die off. And these HBCU Negroes, these Howard University Negroes, even in a book, Up From Slavery, Booker T. Washington talked about the Howard University Negroes. All they wanted was be a Pullman porter and wear a nice pair of pants, a nice suit, and be a Pullman porter. That's all they wanted to do in Howard. They wasn't trying to have no power. They wasn't trying to build nothing for themselves. They just want that job working for Pullman and wear that nice suit, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed with these Howard University Negroes since the early 1900s, late 1800s, when Booker T. Washington dropped this book, Up From Slavery. The Negroes from Howard University's done nothing, try to get a job working for their masters and dress nice. They want to dress nice with nice clothes, nice shoes, a nice hairdo, and smile. That's all they want to do. But you can't let this witch attain the house. You can't let this witch pander and capitulate to you stupid ignoramus Negroes, because all you care about is getting smiled at and having brown skin. You don't care about the future. You don't care about leaving a legacy to the children. All the old Negroes and gave out genres and cultures to the white folks. They gave the blues away, rock and roll away, jazz away, rap music away, disco, funk. They gave it all away. And not only that, the Negroes and gave their laboratories away. Percy Julian sold his laboratories and moved to Oak Park. They told him, nigga, go home. Everything the nigga done attained and acquired, they gave it all away for nothing. Sold their future for a bag of beans, a bag of magic beans. Go into the sky and get a golden goose. The golden goose is in the sky, but you gotta first sell your civilization to me for a bag of beans. Yeah, that's about it.